In this video, we'll be talking about how to compare two fractions that do not have common denominators and using common denominators to help us compare the two. So the first fraction that I have is 1/3, and I'm comparing that to 2/5. And I want to see which fraction is larger. So what I'll be doing is I need to find a common denominator between 3 and 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the multiples of these. So I have 3 times 1 being 3, 3 times 2 is 6, times 3 is 9, times 4 is 12, times 5 is 15. And for 5, I have the multiples of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And I'm going to notice that 15 is the first common number I have as a multiple between these two. So I'm going to want to I'm going to want to place 15 as my denominator for my two fractions. So what I'll need to do is I'm going to first take a look at my 1/3 and find out what do I need to multiply my denominator by to have a denominator of 15. In this case, that's 5. 3 times 5 is 15. And whatever I do to the bottom number, my denominator, I'll have to do to my numerator as well. So I'm going to have this rewritten as 5/15. Now I'll need to do the same thing to this fraction to compare it. So what I'll do is I'll multiply both my top and bottom number by 3. So we're scaling up this fraction by a factor of 3. So this will be 6/15. And I'll see that 2/5 is larger than 1/3. So I can say that 1/3 is less than 2/5. Now in this example over here, we have 2/3 and 5/6. And so I'll need to find my common denominator. So I'm going to use the multiples of my denominators to help me find a common denominator. So again, this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And multiples for 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And I'll notice that my first common denominator between the two of these is 6. So luckily for me, I only need to change one of my denominators, or one of my fractions, I should say, because 5/6 already has a denominator of 6. So I can just rewrite that. I don't have to make any changes to it. 2/3, I will have to multiply by a factor of 2, top and bottom, so that my denominator is 6. So now I'll have 4/6. So I'm comparing 4/6 to 5/6. I can tell that 5/6 is larger than 2/3. So I have 2/3 being less than 5/6. Lastly, we have one more example. We're comparing 3/4 to 2/6. So I'm going to try to find a common multiple between these two, my least common multiple. So for the multiples of 4, I'm just going to go to the fifth multiple, which is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I also have 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. I'll notice that my first common multiple is 12 here. So I need to multiply both fractions by a specific factor that allows me to compare the two. So I'll need to multiply 4 by 3 in order to get 12. And I'll need to multiply 6 by 2 in order to get my denominator of 12. So 3 times 3 is 9. My denominator will be 12. 2 times 2 is 4. My denominator is 12. So I can see that 3/4 is greater than 2/6.